Part 2. In this chapter, we will discuss the important aspect of network security. Network security is the practice of protecting computer networks and their components from unauthorized access, misuse, modification, or destruction. It involves implementing measures to prevent security breaches, detecting intrusions, and responding to security incidents. One massive example of network security breaches is the NHS in the UK. The National Health Service, NHS, in the UK is responsible for managing sensitive medical data and personal information of millions of patients. Unfortunately, there have been several data breaches within the NHS in recent years, which have resulted in the exposure of patient data and personal information. Some examples of NHS data breaches include, in 2017, the NHS suffered a major cyber attack, which resulted in the loss of thousands of patient records. The attack was caused by a ransomware virus called WannaCry, which exploited a vulnerability in outdated Windows software. In 2018, it was reported that NHS staff had inappropriately accessed the medical records of patients, with some staff members selling the information to third parties. In 2019, a data breach at NHS Highland led to the exposure of the personal information of thousands of patients. The breach was caused by an email error, which resulted in sensitive information being sent to the wrong recipient. More recently, in 2020, it was reported that the NHS had inadvertently exposed the personal information of over 18,000 people who had been diagnosed with HIV. The data breach occurred when an email was sent to a group of individuals, and the email addresses of all recipients were visible to others. These data breaches are concerning, as they can lead to a loss of trust in the NHS and the healthcare system as a whole. It is important for the NHS to take steps to prevent data breaches, such as implementing strong security measures and providing staff with appropriate training on data protection. Additionally, patients should be informed of any data breaches that occur, so that they can take steps to protect themselves from potential identity theft or other forms of fraud. Fundamental concepts of network security are based on the CIA triad, which include confidentiality, ensuring that information is only accessible to authorized users and is kept private from unauthorized users. Integrity, ensuring that information is not modified or altered by unauthorized users. Availability, ensuring that information and network resources are available to authorized users when needed. In addition, we will look at authentication, verifying the identity of users or devices attempting to access the network or its resources. Authorization, granting or restricting access to network resources based on user or device credentials. Encryption, converting information into a form that can only be read by authorized users, using cryptographic algorithms. Firewalls, network security devices that monitor and control incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. Intrusion detection systems, IDs, network security systems that detect and alert administrators to potential security breaches. In addition, we will look at authentication, verifying the identity of users or devices attempting to access the network or its resources. Authorization, granting or restricting access to network resources based on user or device credentials. Encryption, converting information into a form that can only be read by authorized users, using cryptographic algorithms. Firewalls, network security devices that monitor and control incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. Intrusion detection systems, IDs, network security systems that detect and alert administrators to potential security breaches. Virtual private networks, VPNs. These are secure connections that allow remote users to access a private network over the public internet. Patch management, ensuring that network devices are updated with the latest security patches and software updates to prevent known vulnerabilities from being exploited. These concepts and technologies are essential for maintaining a secure network and protecting against cyber threats. It is important to regularly review and update network security measures to stay ahead of evolving threats and vulnerabilities. Now, we talk about hardening. Hardening refers to securing a system by reducing its surface vulnerability. Here are some important ways to harden a computer system or network. Keep all software up to date with the latest patches and security fixes. This includes the operating system, applications, firmware, etc. Remove unnecessary software, services, features, usernames, and drives to minimize avenues of attack. Disable components that are not needed. Secure the configuration of the system by following the principle of least privilege. Disable default accounts and restrict permissions. Enable security features like antivirus, firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention systems, IDs, IPS, data encryption, etc. Use strong password policies and multi-factor authentication wherever possible to prevent unauthorized access, restrict physical access to devices, and isolate particularly sensitive systems and data. Implement the practice of regular backups to enable recovery in case of compromises or data loss due to hardware failure or malicious activity. Set up system logging and network monitoring solutions to detect anomalous activity and cyber threats early. Establish monitoring processes and alerting. Establish patch management and configuration change control workflows to maintain a consistent hardened state. Conduct vulnerability assessments and penetration tests to identify weaknesses and attack vectors that need to be secured. Provide cybersecurity training to employees regarding practices like password hygiene, identifying phishing, and reporting risks. Stay up to date on the latest threats and utilize threat intelligence to enhance defenses proactively. The goal of hardening is to eliminate as many security risks as possible and make the system highly resistant to cyber attacks, leveraging both technology and processes. It's an ongoing practice requiring regular audits and maintenance. Applications are secure and less vulnerable to attacks. Now, we cover data encryption. Data encryption is the process of encoding information in such a way that only authorized parties can access it. Here are some key points about encrypting data. Encryption converts readable data, called plaintext, into scrambled ciphertext that looks like random gibberish. It uses cryptographic algorithms and keys to encrypt and decrypt the data. Common algorithms include AES, Blowfish, RC4, DES, and RSA. The encryption keys are essential for decoding the data. Public key encryption uses a public and private key pair. A symmetric key uses the same key to encrypt and decrypt. Encryption protects data privacy and integrity. It prevents unauthorized access to sensitive data stored on devices, networks, cloud services, etc. Proper key management is critical. If keys are lost, stolen, or compromised, the encrypted data can become inaccessible. Applications include encrypting files and hard drives, communications like email and instant messaging, passwords, blockchain transactions, website connections, and more. Regulations often mandate encryption for personal data like healthcare records, financial information, PII, and confidential corporate data. Benefits include information security, privacy, compliance, and shielding sensitive data from cyber criminals. However, it can impact system performance. Encryption provides an important defense layer but must be combined with access controls, backups, endpoint security, and other measures for robust data protection. Disable unnecessary services and ports. Use DNS registrar locks to prevent unauthorized changes or transfers of DNS settings and records. Implement multi-factor authentication and restrict admin access to prevent unauthorized configuration changes. Separate public DNS servers from internal ones holding sensitive information. Use split horizon DNS. Educate employees on DNS-based threats like phishing and the importance of keeping software updated. Have a backup DNS server and recovery plan in case the primary server fails or is compromised. Adopting these best practices will go a long way in securing your DNS infrastructure from modern threats. Passwordless authentication. This is a method of verifying a user's identity without requiring them to enter a traditional password. Instead, it relies on alternative authentication factors, such as biometrics, using fingerprint scans, facial recognition, or other biometric data to confirm the user's identity. One-time passwords, OTP, sending a time-sensitive code to the user's registered device via email, SMS, or a mobile app for them to enter. Authentication tokens, utilizing hardware tokens or mobile apps like Google Authenticator to generate codes for authentication. Smart cards, employing physical smart cards or virtual smart card emulation on mobile devices. FIDO2, utilizing the FIDO2 standard, which enables secure passwordless authentication using public key cryptography. Passwordless authentication is considered more secure than traditional password-based methods because it reduces the risk of password-related vulnerabilities, such as weak passwords or password reuse. It also offers a more user-friendly experience and can enhance security in various online services and applications. We now discuss quantum cryptography, which has gained a lot of traction recently. Quantum cryptography is a branch of cryptography that uses principles from quantum mechanics to secure communications. It is based on the fundamental properties of quantum mechanics, such as the uncertainty principle and the no-cloning theorem, to provide security features not achievable with classical cryptography. Quantum cryptography typically involves two main protocols. Quantum key distribution, QKD. QKD allows two parties to generate a shared secret key over a quantum communication channel. The key is created using the properties of quantum entanglement and the behavior of quantum particles. Any attempt to intercept or eavesdrop on the quantum communication would disrupt it, alerting the parties to the intrusion. Quantum-safe cryptography. Quantum computers have the potential to break many commonly used cryptographic algorithms, e.g., RSA and ECC, due to their ability to efficiently solve certain mathematical problems. To prepare for this threat, researchers are developing quantum-resistant cryptographic algorithms, also known as post-quantum or quantum-safe cryptography. Quantum cryptography offers the promise of secure communication channels that are theoretically immune to attacks by quantum computers. However, it is still an evolving field with practical challenges, and its widespread adoption is currently limited. Nevertheless, it represents a significant advancement in the quest for highly secure communication methods. Most human beings now are using mobile devices to connect to the internet. So, we now discuss mobile security fundamentals, which is the practice of protecting mobile devices, their data, and the networks they access from unauthorized access, theft, and other cyber threats. Here are some fundamental aspects of mobile security. Use a strong password. A strong password is the first line of defense against unauthorized access to your mobile device. Use a unique, complex password that includes a mix of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Keep your device software up to date. Make sure you have the latest security updates and patches installed on your device. These updates often address security vulnerabilities that could be exploited by hackers. Install security software. Install anti-malware and antivirus software on your device to protect against malicious apps and other threats. Be cautious of public Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi networks are often unsecured and can be used by hackers to intercept your data. Avoid accessing sensitive information on public Wi-Fi networks. Use encryption. Use encryption to protect your data from prying eyes. Encryption technology makes it difficult for hackers to access and read your data. Disable Bluetooth and NFC when not in use. Bluetooth and NFC can be used to transfer files and connect to devices. Public Wi-Fi security. Using public Wi-Fi networks can be convenient, but it also poses security risks. Here are some tips to help protect your privacy and security when using public Wi-Fi. Avoid accessing sensitive information. Try to avoid accessing sensitive information, such as online banking, shopping, or entering passwords, while using public Wi-Fi. Use a VPN, a virtual private network. VPN can help protect your online activity and data by encrypting your internet connection. There are many VPN services available, both free and paid. Check the network name. Make sure you are connecting to the correct public Wi-Fi network. Hackers can create fake networks with similar names to lure people into connecting to them. Turn off sharing. Disable file sharing on your device to prevent others from accessing your files and folders. Keep your device updated. Make sure your device's operating system and apps are up to date with the latest security patches. Use HTTPS. Look for websites that use HTTPS encryption, which encrypts your communication with the website, making it more difficult for anyone to intercept your data. Use two-factor authentication. Use two-factor authentication whenever possible to add an extra layer of security to your online accounts. By following these tips, you can help protect your privacy and security when using public Wi-Fi networks. IoT devices are very popular at the moment, so companies must take these security measures. IoT security refers to the measures and practices implemented to protect internet-connected devices and systems from unauthorized access, misuse, modification, and theft of data. As more and more devices become connected to the internet, the need for IoT security becomes increasingly important to ensure the safety and privacy of individuals and organizations. Here are key aspects of IoT security: authentication and authorization. Devices and users should be properly authenticated and authorized before they are granted access to the network or system. Encryption: data transmitted between devices should be encrypted to prevent interception and manipulation. Network segmentation: IoT devices should be segmented into different networks to limit the damage that can be done in case of a security breach. Firmware updates: devices should be kept up to date with the latest firmware updates to patch any security vulnerabilities. Physical security: physical access to devices should be restricted to prevent theft or unauthorized tampering. User education: users should be educated on safe IoT practices and how to recognize and respond to security threats. Implementing these measures and staying up to date with the latest IoT security best practices can help ensure the security of IoT devices and systems. Next, we chat about the concept of employing a zero-trust security strategy. What does zero trust mean in cybersecurity? Zero trust is a cybersecurity framework that operates under the principle of never trust, always verify. The key ideas behind zero trust are: assume breach, always assume there may be a breach and do not automatically trust anything inside or outside the network perimeter. Least privilege access, only grant access to resources on a need-to-know basis. Access should be tightly controlled and monitored. Strict identity verification, rigorously verify the identity of every user, device, and application before granting access to resources. Microsegmentation, divide the network into small segments and limit communication between segments. This helps limit lateral movement in the event of a breach. Continuous monitoring, continuously monitor and log all activity to detect threats as early as possible. Multi-factor authentication, require additional factors like one-time passwords or biometric factors for user authentication. Endpoint security, secure endpoints like mobiles and laptops, as they are highly vulnerable. So, in summary, zero trust minimizes risk by eliminating implicit trust and continuously validating every stage of digital interactions. The goal is to evolve security from a perimeter-based approach to one that is identity and context-aware. Endpoint security fundamentals. Endpoint security is the practice of securing the various endpoints, or devices, which are connected to a network. Endpoints can include desktops, laptops, servers, mobile devices, and other devices that have access to a network. Here are some fundamental concepts of endpoint security. Threat prevention. Endpoint security solutions provide real-time protection against various threats such as malware, ransomware, viruses, and phishing attacks. Endpoint security solutions use various techniques such as signature-based detection, behavioral analysis, and machine learning to identify and prevent threats. Endpoint detection and response, EDR. EDR is a type of endpoint security solution that helps to detect and respond to advanced threats that may have evaded other security measures. EDR solutions monitor endpoints for suspicious activity and provide alerts to security teams. Patch management. Patch management is the process of ensuring that all endpoints are updated with the latest security patches and software updates. Endpoint security solutions can automate this process, ensuring that all endpoints are updated promptly. Access control. Endpoint security solutions can enforce access control policies, ensuring that only authorized users and devices can access sensitive data and resources. Data encryption. Endpoint security solutions can also encrypt sensitive data stored on endpoints. Encryption ensures that even if a device is lost or stolen, the data stored on it remains secure. Remote wipe. Endpoint security solutions can also enable security teams to remotely wipe data from lost or stolen devices, ensuring that sensitive data does not fall into the wrong hands. In summary, endpoint security is a critical component of any organization's overall security strategy. By implementing endpoint security solutions, organizations can protect their endpoints against various threats and ensure that sensitive data remains secure. An air-gapped network. This term refers to a computer network that is physically or logically separated from untrusted networks, such as the Internet or other external networks. This isolation is achieved by ensuring that there are no physical or network connections between the air-gapped network and the outside world. Air-gapped networks are typically employed in highly secure environments where data confidentiality and integrity are paramount. Common examples include military networks, government agencies, financial institutions, research laboratories, and critical infrastructure systems. The primary purpose of using an air-gapped network is to minimize the risk of unauthorized access, data breaches, and malware infections that may result from network connectivity. By isolating the network, it becomes significantly more challenging for attackers to inflict connections like network cables, wireless access points, or other communication channels linking the isolated network to the outside world. Data transfer methods. Since direct network connections are absent, data transfer between air-gapped networks and external systems must rely on alternative methods. This can include the use of removable media, such as USB drives, physically transporting storage devices, or employing dedicated secure systems for data exchange. Security protocols. Air-gapped networks employ strict security protocols to ensure the integrity and confidentiality of data. This includes stringent access controls, robust authentication mechanisms, encryption techniques, and monitoring systems to detect any unauthorized attempts to breach the network. Operational challenges. Operating an air-gapped network comes with various challenges. For instance, software updates and patches must be manually applied, as automatic updates are not feasible. Additionally, information exchange between the air-gapped network and external systems requires careful planning and security measures to prevent potential threats. Human factor. While air-gapped networks provide a high level of security, the human factor remains a significant vulnerability. Social engineering attacks or physical access to the network by unauthorized individuals can still compromise the security of the isolated environment. It is important to note that even with the strongest security measures, no network is entirely immune to attacks. Sophisticated adversaries have developed techniques like side-channel attacks, covert channels, or even using removable media as an attack vector to bypass air-gap security. Therefore, organizations must continually assess and update their security measures to mitigate potential risks effectively. Overall, air-gapped networks play a crucial role in safeguarding sensitive information and critical systems from cyber threats by physically isolating them from untrusted networks and filtrating or exfiltrating sensitive information. Finally, in this chapter, we mentioned Bitcoin security as more businesses and banks get involved in cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin security is an important aspect of the popular cryptocurrency since 2009. Here are some key points to consider regarding Bitcoin security. Blockchain technology. Bitcoin operates on a decentralized ledger called the blockchain. It is a distributed network of computers, nodes, that work together to validate and record transactions. The blockchain's transparency and immutability contribute to the security of Bitcoin. Private keys. Bitcoin uses public key cryptography, where users have a pair of cryptographic keys, a public key and a private key. The private key is essential for accessing and managing Bitcoin holdings. It is crucial to keep your private keys secure and never share them with anyone, as anyone with access to your private key can control your Bitcoin. Wallet security. Bitcoin wallets are software or hardware devices used to store and manage Bitcoin. Wallets come in various forms, including software wallets, desktop, mobile, web-based, and hardware wallets, physical devices. It is important to choose a reputable wallet provider and ensure your wallet is secure by enabling features like two-factor authentication, 2FA, and strong passwords. Cold storage. Cold storage refers to storing Bitcoin offline, away from internet-connected devices. Cold storage methods include hardware wallets, paper wallets, printed copies of private keys, and other offline storage solutions. Cold storage provides a high level of security as it is less susceptible to hacking or online attacks. Secure exchanges. Bitcoin can be bought, sold, and traded on cryptocurrency exchanges. When using an exchange, it is crucial to choose a reputable and secure platform with robust security measures, such as two-factor authentication, withdrawal whitelisting, and cold storage for funds. Avoiding phishing and scams. Bitcoin users should be cautious of phishing attempts, scams, and fraudulent websites. Always double-check URLs, enable browser security features, and be wary of unsolicited requests for personal information or Bitcoin transfers. Network consensus. Bitcoin security is also maintained through network consensus. Miners, who use computational power to validate transactions and add them to the blockchain, play a vital role in securing the network. The consensus mechanism, proof of work, ensures that the majority of miners are honest and prevents malicious actors from controlling the network. Software updates. Keeping your Bitcoin wallet software and other relevant software up to date is essential. Developers regularly release updates to fix security vulnerabilities and improve overall security. While Bitcoin offers robust security measures, it is important for individual users to be responsible and follow best practices to protect their holdings.